Republicans, I don't know what the Democrats are doing other than publicity stunts, but I can tell you the House Republicans are doing some of the most meaningful work of their careers.
We know Mike Johnson to be a lot of things. Mike Johnson is a fake Christian. Mike Johnson is a liar. Mike Johnson is maybe at his most a gaslighter, and a bad one at that. Yesterday he gave a press conference. I guess it was just a few hours ago. I'm my last couple days in Japan here, so the time change and the shift and what time it is back home it's very confusing to say the least. But he gave his press conference and he's being asked questions and he's making statements about the government shutdown. We're in a situation right now in America where 42 million Americans are getting ready to lose access to food security benefits. And among those 42 million are millions and millions and millions of children who, by no fault of their own, are in a situation where there's food insecurity in their lives, where they wonder where they're going to get their next meal. And when the government takes away that entitlement, that help, that assistance for poor people, people suffer. Children suffer. Innocent people suffer. And Mike Johnson, instead of taking care to attend to those people the way Jesus would have him do, he blames Democrats. He acts as though Democrats are in charge of all of this. He acts like Democrats are in the majority in the House of Representatives, which is strange since he's the Speaker of the House. He acts like Democrats have the majority in the Senate, that they control the executive branch of government, that they control the judiciary. None of this is true. The Republicans are in charge. You can't have it both ways. You don't get to say the American people gave Donald Trump a mandate. They've given Congress a mandate. And then act like it's the Democrats' fault that the government is shut down. You don't get it both ways, although he wants it both ways. In this first clip, initially, or essentially, he's trying to convince America that it's Democrats who are in charge, and we are the reason, that elected Democrats are the reason that the government is shut down and is not open.
The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't, not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate, not a bare majority. And so point number one, Democrat votes are required to open the government.
Get a load of that lie, that preposterous statement by this self-described Christian. It's amazing to me. There's a saying, look, I grew up in right-wing circles in evangelicalism, that God hates the sin, but you got to love the sinner, and all of this other nonsense. But what's the other one that I'm not perfect. I'm just forgiven. All of this. Why continue to lie, knowingly lie over and over and over and over, and still think that you curry favor with your deity, with your God, in your religion, Mike Johnson? You are a knowing, wanton liar, and you continue to do so willfully, willingly, gleefully even. That statement is absolutely ridiculous. Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of the government. We aren't. You're not? You're not in charge of the government? You're Speaker of the House of Representatives. How did you become Speaker of the House if Republicans are not in the majority? Yeah, that's crickets. Do you hear them? Because I hear them. That's a ridiculous thing to say. It's absurd. And he knows that MAGA doesn't give a shit. Mike Johnson knows MAGA either will believe anything they're fed, they will just gobble up all of the shitty lies that he feeds them, or that they will go along with it because they know that's the narrative that needs to be spun in order to make Donald Trump victorious in his destruction of the country. There's one more clip where he's talking about getting the Congress back to work. And actually, it's unimportant that the government is shut down right now. It's unimportant that the Congress is not in session. I will remind you, the reason they are not in session right now, the reason they are in pro forma session or just out of session in general, is because they don't want to release the Epstein files, which will reveal the depravity of their dear leader. His involvement in child sex trafficking. It might prove the allegations against him that he is up to his neck relative to the raping of children. This is why they're not in business. But he would have you believe that they don't need to open up. They don't need to get back to work because they're doing the most important work of their lives while the Congress is out of session.
It's now been more than 5 weeks since the House has last met and last voted. But even during the government shutdown, House committees could still meet, there could still be markups, there could still be oversight hearings, bills could still come to the floor. So why not do that rather than have members back home in their districts? Why not bring them back here and do the work that they were elected to do?
Yeah, so we're evaluating this day by day. The House did its work. I've said it over and over and over. And the most important thing is to get the government open. It's the number one priority and number one responsibility of Congress, and the Senate Democrats have chosen not to do it. We think that is paramount and of paramount importance to everything else. There is plenty of time in the remainder of the calendar year to do all the things that are the must-pass pieces of legislation and all the negotiations that I referenced earlier today, and we are anxious to get everybody back to regular legislative session. But there cannot be a regular legislative session so long as the government is closed and Americans are feeling so much pain. We won't do that. Now, in the meantime, Republicans, I don't know what the Democrats are doing other than publicity stunts, but I can tell you the House Republicans are doing some of the most meaningful work of their careers. They are in their districts working around the clock with their constituents, helping them not only to negotiate the crisis that's been created by this Democrat shutdown, but all the other matters that they need to attend to. And I'm hearing from them individually. They are having some of the most meaningful interactions at a time of great crisis with their constituents that they've ever had, and that's really, really important. So I don't want to pull them away from that work right now when their insight and their counsel and their assistants and those of their staff, who, by the way, aren't getting paid soon, that is most essentially needed right now back home.
How are lawmakers doing the most important work? Again, their work is to make laws while out of session, while they're not passing legislation, writing legislation. What exactly are they doing to help their electorate navigate the situation where benefits are turned off, where children, 42 million Americans, and among them, again, like I just talked about, among them are tens of millions of children, are going to be hungry, are going to go hungry, are going to be without food benefits? How is the work that you're achieving, that you're doing, important at all? You're not doing anything. You're not doing work. And you see, part of this is the large problem at hand, is the fact that the Republican Party has such a disdain for government and the services that the government provides, and by virtue of that, disdain for poor and working class Americans. They don't care if you are not getting benefits. They don't care about funding the entitlement programs, the social safety net that is so necessary to so many people. They don't care. They have contempt for the poor. They have contempt for working class people. The person they don't have contempt for is Donald Trump, who they work in service to. They are high priests in the cult of Donald Trump. They do not serve Jesus the Christ. They do not adhere to the philosophies of Christianity. They adhere to MAGA. They adhere to Donald Trump and whatever he says, whether that be violations of the Constitution, whether that be literally demolishing the White House to build himself a grand palace. This is what they're in it for. That work continues, by the way, while the government is shut down. There are furious cranes working and earth movers changing the very face of the White House. And Republicans are here for it. It's disgusting. Just like Mike Johnson, just like the leadership of the Republican Party. And hopefully, there are some modicum, some number of Republicans out there who are ready to call it quits, who are seeing what is taking place and are alarmed by the party that they've been a member of for so long. Look, I'm a former Republican. Decades and decades ago, I was in the Republican Party. Early into my adulthood, realized this is not the way forward. This is not a party that cares. This is a party of hypocrites. And I, among anything else, if there's anything about me that you've learned, I'm not a hypocrite. And I hope that there are some Republicans out there that will follow suit, that will follow the path of leaving the Republican Party, even if it's to find independency and to not adhere to any party's membership. I would be fine with that. But the Republican Party needs to die a quick death for the sake of the poor and the working class and regular everyday Americans. I invite you to this conversation. I believe is an important one. Please share this video. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. You can do so on YouTube. Click that subscribe button. It is free. You can also go over and follow the Facebook page. Like and follow the Dollemore Daily over there. You can comment below, or you can call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you. I am champing at the bit to get back home, to be in my home studio, not working from a hotel room halfway across the globe, not the country. It's going to be good. I have a lot of things to say when I get home about this trip and the situation in Japan and the right-wing wayward swing that this country is taking. I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of alarmed individuals on the ground here. I love and appreciate you very much. I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another.